You ever had those moments when you just feel a little constipated? Yeah. It certainly is a battle, but the first things first, have you been drinking enough water? And I will be the first to say that no, I have not lately in the last couple of days because I was kind of dry fasting and really by accident. I have to do better.
Today is an interesting question, thanks to the viewers and asking about if you're feeling a little constipated while fasting. And yeah, there's times that happen. I'm that kind of person that's been constipated throughout my life, and I've always had those issues. I do have a touch of colitis as well. So all these things don't really help when you're trying to be regular, and it just doesn't feel good. You feel uncomfortable all the time, right? How can we relieve the constipation and the pressure while fasting so we don't disrupt our lifestyle? The first thing is the most obvious, which is drink lots of water. I've said this in many past videos, but really we should take a look at that. If you are fasting like myself, I was fasting and doing a lot of dry fasting. Sometimes I just accidentally do dry fasting because I forgot to drink water while I was working one day. So it's uncomfortable, it doesn't feel good. So some studies have found that sparkling water is more effective than drinking just regular old filtered water. It helps to relieve that constipation, and you cannot go into those sugary sodas. You know the ones I'm talking about. Anything that is having artificial flavors and chemicals in it, which would break your fast nevertheless. But sparkling water, I have this excellent one, and I think it's called, my pronunciation I'm sure is wrong, but I'm gonna say it, Gerolsteiner or Gerolsteiner. Well, check it out here and you'll see what I'm saying. And that is the best, in my opinion, tasting sparkling water, because I wasn't a sparkling water drinker before. But one thing about this is that you are getting lots of minerals in it, which you have magnesium, the calcium, the sodium, as well as, and not a lot of sodium, it's very little, and also potassium. And those things are the key minerals that we may have depleted while we were drinking plain water. So if you're drinking a lot of plain water, that's still good, although you could be watering down yourself so much that you're losing the minerals that you need to be able to have a regular flow. Try that and see if that's something that would help. Also, you want to drink more teas. So if you're drinking teas, things that are basically caffeinated. That leads me to drinking more tea and drinking coffee if you are a coffee drinker. I'm not personally, but for those that are, it is the caffeine that can increase the urge to go to the bathroom, because coffee stimulates the muscles in your digestive system. Then that is what will get you moving and making you feel like, yes, I'm back on point. The other thing about drinking coffee, it's been proven that it's about 60% more effective, stronger than just drinking water. And it's 23% stronger than drinking decaffeinated coffees as well. So caffeine is the key, and that's the bottom line. The other suggestion I would say is to exercise more. So when you go out jogging, if you're into that, anything that's more cardio movement does show that would help get things going. Exercise will reduce the symptoms of constipation, and in some people, although the evidence is, it kind of shows mix of what I looked that up. In my experience, yes, it's helped me after I go for a long walk or do some intervals of running. I'm certainly ready to go when I get back. Eating probiotic foods or taking a probiotic supplement are key as well. This is very helpful. I take a probiotic supplement about every couple of days. I find that if I take a couple of capsules, I'm pretty good for a few days. I also feel like I can't really be normal on a normal schedule if I'm not taking the probiotics. So I really know when I miss it for a couple of weeks, I can tell the difference and that things are just not flowing the way I like it to. There are also probiotic foods that you can eat that if you're not the supplement type, and it will also help the flow. A lot of different dietary fiber, which would be a lot of vegetables in your food. And that is also considered a natural probiotic as well. And so it will give your stool a consistency and bulk, so both of which will improve the bowel movement. Probably have a pound in you that will just drop off instantly once you go. One other suggestion I would say to avoid is dairy. And we all know we love cheese, we love different types of dairy, butter, and such. But you might want to give it a break, maybe a week or two, and see what happens at that point. You could be lactose intolerant and not even know it, and that can really irritate the stomach and cause the constipation in the first place. So just want to look at your meal plan, and maybe it's something in your food that's causing the constipation. Even though you're doing all the other things right, it could just be one elimination of a category of food that just doesn't work for you. And in that case, it could be the dairy. One thing I stress not to do, and hey, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but I don't believe in over-the-counter laxatives because they have so many fillers in them, chemicals, things that are unwanted in our body. And for those of us that's searching for the optimum healthy lifestyle, I think we should stay away from over-the-counter drugs like that are just a bunch of fillers. Now, in extreme forms of constipation where you feel like you need a true cleansing and your energy's low, it could just mean that you're pretty backed up, and it'd be a good idea to do a salt flush. I've done a salt flush video in the past, but I will show you some clips here that what I do is using sea salt and warm water in about 12 to 15 ounces of maybe a teaspoon of the sea salt. And in that video that I did in the past, I use Himalayan salt, which is just as good. But if you really are backed up, you want to use the sea salt because that is more aggressive to get things flowing, and it'll take about 30 minutes to an hour, and you should be good to go. Just make sure you do this in the morning. You'll feel great, I promise you. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment. And if this is something you would like to see more of, I appreciate you guys giving me some questions and inspiration for doing the next video. So if you have any suggestions, please do leave a comment below. And don't forget, caregiving begins with you. And I appreciate you watching, and we'll talk to you on the next video.